Recording in progress.
Hello, everybody. This is Makayla from Scenic Route Astrology, and today we're talking about the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening on April 20th, 2024 at 21 degrees of Taurus. This is a big transit. This is a big, big deal. This is a once-in-a-lifetime transit. You will not experience this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus again in your lifetime, maybe future lifetimes. So I think it's important we take a good deep dive into what this transit means for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the Jupiter and Uranus functions, and then I'm going to synthesize them together for each of the rising signs. So hopefully this helps you figure out your own transits. If you're trying to learn astrology, you're trying to figure out what this means for you, how you can seize the opportunity and take new risks to propel your life forward and to gain all the gifts and unique gifts that really this transit can bring. It definitely has a theme around value and money. So I think a lot of people can put more money in their pockets. They can incorporate new relationships into their life under this transit. Of course, it's going to hit everyone differently because it's going to fall within a certain house of your natal chart. So it will impact a certain specific psychological area or take up certain psychological space within you. And it's also going to be hitting your personal planets differently than other people. So this is why we can look at these videos and we can take this big idea. So I encourage you to listen to your sun and your rising sign. I would even recommend your moon sign if you're able to differentiate the fact that the moon sign will more or less affect things that are bring you emotional security, emotional dynamics, family, home life living. But if you listen to the houses for your rising and your sun sign, I feel you'll get a better idea to mend and intertwine the two houses and what these opportunities could bring. And then you can reflect and sit back at your own life and understand, okay, this is actually what I see is coming up for me. This is what I can take. This is what I can leave, and so forth. It's always best to book a reading with an astrologer. Of course, I'm available for readings now. My books have been opened, so you can just email me at makayla@scenicrouteastrology.com or find me on Instagram, Scenic Route Astrology, and send me a DM over there. But, these are one of my gifts for you guys on my YouTube channel to help, integrate, to help other people learn around like these transits, these very important transits, and to get you thinking, to get your brain working and basically trying to apply it to your own chart to benefit you. So with that being said, I also want to say that I already have a YouTube video put out on Uranus transits through the houses. I definitely recommend if you like this video and you want to do a deeper dive, go check that out. Some of the things will be repeats, but some of them won't because I can't cover everything here. And I also have a Uranus transits video in general. I did them kind of in two because it's a planet that holds a lot of weight. Okay, I know it's an outer planet, so it doesn't really affect us on a day-to-day level. But when we get a big transit where two outer planetary energies are making a conjunction and planting a new seed in a specific part of our life, in a way, this is igniting a new 13-year cycle for individuals. And so it's a big cycle. It's a big thing that can create an umbrella over the overarching evolution of your life, of your soul. So it's important that we digest these and we look at them as from many angles as we can. I also have a Jupiter transits video. I do not have one through the houses yet. That is coming. However, I do encourage you to watch that video as well because there is a different lens that evolutionary astrology has and I have from my personal teachings on Jupiter transits that really cuts out the woo-woo of opportunity, growth, like you're just gonna get given a big pot of gold and or you're gonna win the lottery, or don't worry, Jupiter's hitting your 7th house, you'll meet a partner. You know, it's those opportunities can arise. We can definitely get the benefit, right? The good luck that Jupiter holds. However, it's not without risk, and it's not without self-confidence, and it's not without action that you can take on these dynamics. You can take on these opportunities for growth to come into your life. And so I really want to drill it in before we begin to break this down, is that you've got to do some work. This is a good opportunity to create revolutionary change for people, really take a new direction, free up your time, free up your space, free up your energy, you know, grab a hold of the reins in a new way, grab life in the way, have a new faith, a renewed faith in life, if you will, that benefits your individuality, benefits where you want to go. But it's not without action that this transit will be possible. So if you haven't been doing the work, just start now. Because just because this transit is going to hit later this week doesn't mean that you're left in the dust and you can't take on this opportunity anymore. What really ultimately matters is the intention is there, the emotion, the energy to actually take the action is there. Because with a conjunction, it is the seed planted anyway, and it is going to take time for Jupiter to separate from Uranus for us to start to see the growth and the benefit and the potentials of these things going. From my predictive sense, I think if people have already had things in the works, have already had things rolling, then this would be an explosion, an elevation, and an upgrade to something that they already started, so they can see bigger results. They can see a bigger impact. So if you're applying this to something that's already been established, then that might manifest for you, right? You keep the ball rolling. If you're applying this to something that's brand new, that's starting, that's okay. It's just that you want to start putting in the work, you want to start putting in the effort. And ultimately, that really means putting in the energy when the seed is being planted so that it can take a life of its own. And for a lot of people, you'll see a combination of the two as well, right? You'll see in your personal lives, you'll see stuff that you've already been working on and stuff that you want to work on that's new. And the two of them somehow come together and they take that life of its own, okay? So I just really wanted to make that clear and important that both planets under this they're going to require some risk-taking, some movement, some action, and getting out of your comfort zone, essentially. So you also want to look at the fact that this conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus is ultimately serving the purpose of the evolution of your natal Jupiter and Uranus placements. So if you have a Jupiter-Uranus opposition in your chart, you want to think about, what does that mean for you? How are you integrating the two houses? All right. And how is this conjunction, how is the seed being planted in Taurus helping the value of that, what's within the natal chart, giving it more self-confidence, giving it a new ability to be self-sustained, to grow, to add to their survival, the overall survival, if you will, that your soul depends on in order to evolve and grow. We want to think Taurus themes, right? Because this is happening in the sign of Taurus. So we want to think about how this is relating to the part of our psyche, the part of our soul and our ego that requires things for survival. What we hold as a value becomes a part of those survival needs. So a lot of people have different values, right? So again, a lot of people are going to see different manifestations of these two planets coming together, because not everybody has the same value system. So not everybody is going to want to plant a seed, if you will, in the same areas of life, right? The same survival instincts, the same things that bring you a sense of self-sustainability and self-reliance even, okay? Taurus is an energy that really likes to be contained. It prefers to be more yin. And that is for reasons that it follows Aries, where we go out and take a risk, but then we now realize, okay, what is important to us? What is of value to us? And so essentially it's going to operate in a natural instinct to be more retained, to be more contained. Okay. We're putting two planets in this sign that really don't deal well with containment. Okay. Uranus is revolutionary. It chops things up, it breaks things up, especially if they're stagnant and irritating and frustrating for the ego or the soul. Uranus comes in and it's like, okay, that's got to go, and I'm going to pull the rug out from you. Jupiter wants you to take risks and wants you to experience growth and expansion. Okay, so there's this perplexing combination under this transit as well, where there will be this confrontation, if you will, with things that are limiting. Okay, I know I'm bringing in the Scorpio dynamic a bit, but it is a part of it. Things that are limiting the soul's growth. And so Jupiter and Uranus are in this transit are going to help a lot of individuals realize where those confrontations are, and then bring the opportunities, if you're moving, for growth. Not to scare people, but if you're not moving, that's when we cause our own pain in our life, really. When we reach into Jupiter, right, we reach into the right side of our brain, we're becoming more intuitive. And everybody has that little voice. It's your higher self, it's your soul that speaks to you. It's God and Goddess within you. Some people have learned to intuitively listen to this more than others. When you have that little voice in your head that's like, you should do this, you know this is coming, you should do that, you should move in this way, right? It's about trusting in yourself, right? Having that self-confidence that you can grow and you can be self-sustainable on your own. It's when we don't listen to those things or we resist change is when astrology shows and life experience shows that cataclysmic events happen in a human's life. And from an evolutionary perspective, many of us understand that Uranus, the trinity of Uranus, Aquarius, or the 11th house, can bring traumatic experiences to the soul. And that is because of a resistance to change when the soul has met a point where it needs that. So it becomes very frustrating. Things become very frustrating for the person on the outside. But if you're trying and you're moving and you're trying to grow, the energy is going to flow. It has to go somewhere. It cannot be stagnant. So right now, in our individual, small little people lives, and then we can also look at this on a very big collective scale, but I don't really do mundane astrology, so I'm not even going to go there. But we can see where there's a lot of stagnation, right? Or even take a moment for yourself to look at where you feel just like you could be more self-sufficient. You could bring more stability. You could be more self-sustaining. You know you have a value, or maybe you're trying to find the value in something that you can bring that will bring you more independence, innovation, freedom, and trust in your life and in your ability to guide your own life, to be in charge of your own life, right? So this is a really awesome opportunity, an awesome transit. However, it can bring difficult situations for some people who aren't looking for it, right? Who aren't looking for the out, aren't looking for the door that's opening. isn't looking for the magic carpet ride that can come along, and maybe you got to learn how to fly and be like Aladdin and jump on and go, right? We don't want to miss these opportunities, right? And they're going to be presented for everybody. Everybody's on this soul journey and this growth. And sometimes it's about letting go of your ego to attachment and what feels safe and secure. And sometimes about taking a risk to expand yourself on that. Okay. So we've touched a little bit on Jupiter and Uranus, right? Another thing I wanted to talk about, which is in my Jupiter transits video, but it's important to bring up, is that often with Jupiter transits, things die. And I don't want to like scare people. Oh my God, this is happening in my 8th house. Somebody's going to die. This is happening in my 4th house. A parent is going to die. I'm not saying that at all, right? But there's often a new growth that needs to happen with Jupiter. And so there is a release, right? And one of the themes that Jupiter transits can bring up is, does a certain belief that you've been living by need to die? Does it need to purge? Is it blocking you from being more open-minded so that you can see more avenues, more opportunities around you? Things like self-confidence will be brought up with Jupiter transits as well, because it's requiring us to have enough confidence that we can make a change for the better in our life, that we can believe that our plans for tomorrow or for the next 13 years, because it's a 13-year cycle initially, that can be better. You know, it's asking you if you can expand, if you can give life or other people the benefit of the doubt, okay? I had a Jupiter transit where, and often, and you know, with the passing of people, Jupiter can be involved as well. And I think that has to do with the crossing of the plane and the religious aspect that's behind Jupiter. And it does like lead to an expanded mind and opening up to spirituality in essence. And it's connected to Pisces in a nice aspect, which is about letting go and so forth. However, I mean, a hard aspect, a square about letting go and whatnot. But, you know, my grandfather had passed away under a Jupiter transit, and it was like 2 months later where this new person came in that in this very weird way, you know, had a lot of similar characteristics. And I knew that it was a letting go. And I held my grandfather's hand while he was passing. It was a very beautiful experience. A very Jupiterian experience of me to allow myself to release and let go and be like, wow, okay, there's a new energy that's going to come in now, you know, that will be just as important as this person was, right? And so sometimes we have to let things die, literally, metaphorically or literally, like a belief system or a job we're really attached to, for instance, that we believe is going to take us the long haul, and we're just trying to hold on, but it's really got a dead end approach, and we're not trying, we can't let it go. Sometimes the growth will only come through the new opportunities. And so we have to have the self-confidence and the open-mindedness to, again, make decisions for ourselves and trust that new opportunities and there can be a better future ahead. Okay. And also it asks us if we're willing to take a risk, if we're willing to have faith in ourselves, right? So Jupiter can bring gifts and good luck and so forth, right? But you're not going to win. I'm not saying people are going to win the lottery, but if you do, leave me a comment. If you're not going to win the lottery unless you risk the $2 playing it, right? And it takes the action to do that. It's as simple, it's really simple like that, right? But it can get complicated because we can get stuck in our own belief systems so much that they can be dogmatic and it's our only lens. And then we get laser focused, right? And that's not what Jupiter wants you to do. Jupiter wants you to expand, especially in a Taurus. When you expand on your beliefs, your value systems are going to change. When your value systems change, your belief system changes. And then what you start to attract all around you, which is Taurus themes, money and relationships and self-worth and self-value, all of things, those things start to expand and they start to change. And this is really important for people if you're not exactly content with where you are, because we can get content with Taurus and then like feel too comfortable where we don't want to change. Like, okay, well, this is enough. But what if it could be better, right? Jupiter will ask that. What if I can do better? What if I can have better? What will happen if I don't seize this risk? Think about this when we're going through this transit in your natal chart. What if I mistrust for the rest of my life? What is going to block me? What opportunities won't I see if I'm continuing to try and mistrust all the time? What if I can't explain what I don't know and I'm allowing that to be okay? What if I can trust in my gut instinct, right? It's about getting rid of these judgments around yourself and being able to open up your awareness and your consciousness. Now, on the flip side, Uranus is also in this transit. And Uranus accelerates growth. Wherever it's transiting, you know, when it hits a new house, so if this is moving into a new house, you'll most likely feel the impact of it being in the new house for the first few years, right? 3 years or so. The same thing goes for an angle. If it's and the same thing goes for Jupiter too, but Jupiter only spends a year in a sign. But with Uranus, if it's crossing a new house or it's crossing an angle, you'll really feel the impacts of that area of life for about 3 years, like really profoundly. And then things might start to settle down once you've kind of got the Uranian flow going through you, okay? Like the changes have been happening, or they've been started, they implemented themselves, and you've gotten the sudden shocks and so forth, because Uranus can bring shocks, okay? Many of us know that. I've been studying astrology, but and Uranus is a rebellious planet, okay? So it is about being an individual, it's about being different, it's about creating change, because ultimately it wants to make you more free in your life, right? It wants to, and with Jupiter here, the more freedom you have, the more options for opportunity you're going to have as well, right? So Uranus likes to break the rules and it likes to have its ultimate freedom, okay? So it also, in the same sense, allows people to understand themselves on a deeper individual level so that you can express yourself and your soul in a more authentic way throughout your life, okay? And essentially, like Uranus basically wants to eliminate the noise around you so that you can be super laser focused on who you are, what your purpose is, what your mission is, what you like, what you don't like, how you want to live your life, how you don't. It gives you all of these things. However, a lot of people, and there's no judgment because I have been there at one point and then I just let myself go, and that is in my Uranus transits video. It gives you the ability to eliminate what the care of what other people think, and then you have so much more freedom and control over your life. But a lot of us will resist that because of the noise around us, right? The fear of, are we going to be accepted? You know, what will I lose? What will this cost me? Right? But really, when we're not tapping into the Uranus side of our chart and the Aquarius side in the 11th house, then we're going to possibly miss out and lose out on those wishes and hopes and those bigger dreams that we can have, right? Those opportunities for more connection from a really authentic place, and those opportunities to really live a self-created, self-fulfilling life. And there's nothing selfish about that. I deeply encourage that people, the more unique, the more you embrace your uniqueness, the more light you're going to actually shine around others. And this is definitely has to do with the Leo Aquarius axis, and the two are polar opposite each other, but we have to integrate the two, right? So the more individual you can be, the more self-creative you can use your Leo house, your house of creativity, right? Your house of self-expression, the more gifts you can give back into others, okay? So you want to understand where's this happening in your natal chart, right? Where's Uranus in your natal chart? Where's Aquarius? And what's the fifth house? I'm sorry, what's the 11th house? This transit can activate the need for sudden change, or at least the awareness of the need for sudden change. And it might seem like it's a bit on the edge of the status quo, or at least to your people, your family, your friends around you. It's going to change your environment, essentially, especially if this transit is altering what you feel is of value to you and what isn't anymore, okay? Because again, this is in Taurus, and it's shaking up the value system for many, many people. So how do we respond to a Uranus transit? If we are not embracing change, most likely you'll feel really irritable. And if you think about it, it's because the transits are saying, okay, here's an area of your life where you know you're a little bit stagnant, you're not getting the freedom, you're not getting your needs met. Uranus, Jupiter pop in here. What are you going to do about? What risks are you going to take? And if you're not choosing to take the action and roll with it and at least start something or move the energy, then most likely you'll feel really irritable. And also criticize other people who will, because people who don't respond to Uranus transits are often the ones criticizing everybody else who are. And it's a really unique perspective to look at, right? Why am I criticizing this person? Am I judging them because maybe I wish I could do that thing, or I could take that job, or I could try for that thing, right? So that can be a thing. Or other people can criticize you because you're moving fast. And that's okay, because with Uranus transits, things can accelerate. And that's why you could see a quick acceleration of growth in your life if you're choosing to roll with this opportunity. And for other people who can't change as quickly than you are choosing to, that can look uncomfortable for them. But don't worry, because that's not your mission, that's their mission, right? And again, you could be just offering them some insight, or at least a model to look after what revolutionary change and ultimate freedom can look like for people, right? People can freak out and have anxiety because you're changing too fast, right? Or you could freak out and have anxiety because other people around you are changing too fast. So we want to make sure that we're also giving other people around us during this time the openness, right? And the perspective like, oh, okay, this is where they're creating a revolution, right? For their personal life goals. And actually, it's an empowered approach, right? That's an empowered thing we can look at, we can take on. There also could be a desire at one point under this transit with Uranus there to be free or alone for a small amount of time, or maybe a large amount of time. I'm not sure. It depends what's going on in your chart, but the desire to be alone, because we need to free ourselves from other people's expectations of us, because new ideas, new visions can flood in, new opportunities, new goals, right? Clarity can come in with this transit. And especially clarity on how to move forward or where to move forward, right? So there might be some time required for an individual to just spend some time alone to process this, to change quickly on your own, and release yourself of the judgment and expectations that other people can see, because, or at least project on you, because you're changing so fast, or you're having growth, right? And they don't want to be left out. But this opportunity is available for everybody. So it's not going to happen again without your effort. And if you don't respond to this transit, because I do want to look at it from what it might feel like if you're feeling like any of these emotions, boredom, deflated emotions, a feeling of dullness, definitely a feeling of feeling trapped, jealousy, anger, sourness, feeling shut down from inspiration, feeling like you don't have inspiration anymore, and a loss of meaning or interest. These are things that can come up if you're not, and it's good to know this, if you're not tapping in and tuning in or doing deeper work on your chart, and how is this activating your life? What is this bringing you growth for, right? And I really want to help people accelerate and evolve their potential, right? This is what I'm here to do. This is why I do astrology. So I want to talk about what it might feel like if you're not getting it right, and getting it right, I put in quotes, but if you're not embracing the energy. And let's go back to the drawing board. Let's look at the chart deeper, right? Let's figure it out. Everything is figure it outable. You've literally got your life map right in front of you. It's all about deciphering it. So now we are going to break it down through the houses for all of the rising signs. And we're going to start with Aries. Okay. For the Aries rising, this is going to be in your second house. So this has to do with your values, your money, your assets, and your resources, okay? So a part of your money story is most likely changing and hopefully getting an upgrade, okay? And this will also be connected to your self-worth. A lot about money is a lot about your self-worth. And to expand and take the opportunities on that is going to require us to live according to our own values and our own beliefs, okay? So there can be some opportunity here where you need to risk things in order to live according to your own values, okay? And what Uranus will do as well is it will require you to be really authentic with your values. And then how are those two connected and related to money? Okay. This can also incorporate physical energy exchange within people, because this is Taurus as well. So we want to think that this is an earth sign, right? This is a physical manifestation of things. And so there could be a changing of the fact that your actual authenticity around money changes. And so now your physical energy exchange with other people, so that like what they actually pay you, right, for your services or something might change, right? I'm basically changing, I'm shifting like careers, because and I'm an Aries, not an Aries rising, but I'm an Aries sun. So again, this will still pertain to me. I'm shifting careers. I'm in the middle of transitioning to full-time astrology and spiritual coaching. And that's because on a deeper level, my values and my beliefs of them have changed dramatically. So the ball has been rolling, and it most likely has been for a lot of you, because Uranus has been in Taurus for a while and Jupiter has been in Taurus, and we only have a few months left of it here. So you're really evaluating now in your second house of your time and your money and what matters and what's worth pursuing, okay? So you have to let go of things that appear to give you self-confidence, because it's most likely you don't feel like it does anymore. And you have to, and that's the death part of Jupiter, right? Let those things go and embrace the things that do. Okay, have faith that the things that do give you confidence, that do give you meaning, that do bring you joy and excitement, these Jupiter things, and also freedom, allow the pursuit of things to change for you, and it will change your money. And I promise with Jupiter Uranus, there can be big money, right? So this can be a big, nice, chunky shift for Aries and Aries rising people to risk something that allows you to expand your own personal assets and your own personal resources and create that abundance and create that gift, you know? So inflate the ego, right? Under this transit, inflate the self-worth, inflate your value and what you bring to the table, and take the risks to get there and to do the thing. Okay. For the Taurus and Taurus rising, this is happening in your third house. No, I'm sorry. This is happening in your first house. Of course it is. It's Taurus rising. So for Taurus and Taurus rising, Uranus has been transiting your first house for a while. So many of you are probably used to sudden shifts, sudden changes happening, things that you can't control at times, and things being pulled out of the rug, but also really good opportunities of growth and expansion, and like new ideas, and maybe slight innovations of the self, you know, like how you look, you know, your body could be changing or has been changing over the last few years. Your hair color, your style, how you're asserting yourself and you're bringing yourself out into the world. And so this conjunction right here is elevating you on how to embrace those new changes and embrace that new independent version of yourself and expand it on an even bigger level. Okay. And that is going to obviously affect your seventh house of relationships. And so this could be, you know, a mending of bridges that have been burned over the last couple of years with Uranus transiting there, or even an opportunity of the fact that you are embracing your own independence now. You're choosing to go your own way. You're making decisions for the direction of your life that now bring in better partnerships or better opportunities and so forth. If some of you have been feeling like stagnated, or, you know, you needed a renewal of faith in yourself or somewhat, this could be an opportunity where you can, if you've been bored with your self-expression or the way that you come out and your desires are coming out to the world, maybe you feel like they still need a new revolution, they still need more change or a reinvention. Jupiter coming along here with that conjunction can really open that up, right? It can really give people a bigger, more optimistic view of the direction that you're going in. And I do know for many people with Uranus crossing your ascendant and Uranus transiting your first house, you know, it's one of the four angles. So it's not an exactly easy transit to have. But I think that this sense of renewal can come with Jupiter as long as you're choosing to expand on yourself and have faith, and let the old parts of you that don't, even if it's like physically, because a lot of things can be physical with the body, you know, letting go of things that just don't really express who you are anymore, and just choosing to ultimately beat, you know, march to the beat of your own drum and go your own way, and throw off the care and concerns about how other people think you appear to be. Because, you know, for a lot of Taurus and Taurus risings too, with this Uranus here and this Jupiter here, if you're in the public sphere, or if you have any job where you're trying to bring yourself out more into the world, self-expression in the new way, right? Putting it in a new way, this can be an opportunity for you to free up that energy, free up that self-judgment, and bring major changes that can ultimately just be more of a blessing for you going forward. Definitely also a time where new ideas and new beliefs and new perspectives can be flooding your way now, and how you're coming up with solutions to those. I feel like Jupiter will give you an opportunity to expand your consciousness and the way that you think about the direction of your life. And Jupiter can swoop in here and give you new perspective and a new way to basically think of a of a solution to a problem and so forth. For the Geminis, this is happening in your 12th house. And so here is a combination where, you know, Uranus here has been asking you to feel free enough to trust and relax into the universe. Okay. And I need a moment in between houses because I'm tapping and tuning into the consciousness of the house as well while I'm talking about this. Right? Especially I could feel a major shift between 1 and 12, right? Where, you know, you have Uranus in here is asking you to be more open to not having as much control in dynamics of your life. So things can feel out of control and chaotic at times because Uranus is ultimately telling you you're not in charge. There's a bigger tapestry behind you. And sometimes we have to let things fall apart and allow the sacredness in the womb of the universe to give us a healing to that, right? To allow other things to fall into place. And so with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction here, it's probably about embracing those spiritual things, embracing the spiritual trust to allow yourself to have freedom with the universe and with your higher self, with God and Goddess that is ultimately within you. This definitely asks a lot of Gemini rising people to let go and allow the universe to curate expansion, freedom for you. So we can just surrender that there's an opportunity for rebirth and regrowth and faith being redeveloped essentially, and an opening to new energy fields. You know, this can be really good for Gemini rising actually, because for a rising sign or a sun sign that really likes to label things and know where things are and kind of be a little bit more logical, right? With its outlook in life, this is asking you to not to kind of embrace more of the chaotic sense, the chaoticness of life, and the opportunity that things could just literally fall in place. And this is also a part of the chart where Jupiter-Uranus can really reveal the habits in your subconscious that are blocking you from really getting the gifts that the universe can bring for you. Okay. So there'd be a lot of deep unconscious liberation if you trust that there is a better way forward, right? If you trust that like you don't have to have control all the time, that you can release control, and that the more open you feel with alter states of consciousness, and I'm not just saying with drugs or anything, you know, although I'm not against people using ayahuasca and things like that, right? There's no judgment, like whatever it is that helps you in a spiritual way to reach other states of alter consciousness, you know, really intense breathing breathwork classes, right? I've done those. Like you get super high off of them. It's crazy. These things allow yourself to engage more in those. And under this conjunction, watch how new connections to source can guide you into more opportunity in your life. Okay. And the less chaotic things feel when you learn to have the trust and the faith of having ultimate freedom, and knowing that the universe basically is holding your back and having the cradle of your back. And that really comes down to understanding that you are God and Goddess. You are soul, you are creator, you are source energy. And so for you to really allow yourself to have the trust in the universe under this conjunction in your 12th house means that you're really learning to be self-reliant and have self-trust within yourself. For the Cancers and Cancer risings, this is happening in your 11th house. And so this is dealing with your hopes and your wishes and your dreams for the future. Okay. And there could be a coming together or falling apart before there's a coming together with people who are in your network or people that you associate yourself with. And this is really about aligning with people and groups that are helping you work towards your personal vision of the future. Okay. having discussions about what type of world do you want to live in? What type of environment do you want to live in, right? And it's also understanding that a part of this is that we need others to expand when we want to create, or we want to make our mark on the world, or we want to have a community, or we want to have a business in a community. We need others to help us, but sometimes those people and those associations need to change if they're not aligned with our individual sense of reality or our individual truth or beliefs, okay? So now is a time where your goals can change, your people that you associate with can change, and also maybe your personal perspective around your dreams and your goals could also have a sudden upheaval and change. However, they will take on a new form and plant a new seed. Or you could be working on the same goal, the same vision, the same dream, the same future that you're trying to create, but it could be taking a next level. And that could require new people to come in, new opportunity through other people could come in and present you an expansion as well. But ultimately, this is going to deal with who is in your circle or circles, and where is their self-worth and value, and where is yours, and are you all meeting together? Or is it all being, conducive to the ultimate growth of, where you want to take your life and your vision and where you're going? So for the Leos and the Leo risings, this is happening in your 10th house. And so with Uranus in the 10th house, there can tend to be a sudden shift with your career and your work. Ultimately, the 10th house really has to do with power seen out in the world, but in modern times that we live in now, that is usually if we're a parent, if we're married, if we own a company, if we're a pilot, if we are, the head of the volunteer something, right? It's just how people see us out in the world. And so with Uranus here, it's most likely for a lot of Leo risings, the way that you've been wanting to appear in the world or do your work in the world has been needing an innovation, right? A change or a new face on it, if you will, a new perspective of some sort, right? Or maybe the job that you've had, the values don't align with your values anymore, because this is to do with Taurus in your 10th house, right? And so when your values change, well, do I still align with the company that I've been working for 10 years? Like, is it the same values? Like, maybe not. Maybe I need to go with this company who gives me more time off and cares about me as an employee, where this company doesn't, right? And so forth. So Uranus can bring changes and new possibilities that feel exciting towards career, towards your reputation as well, your reputation and your work in the world. And so here is a time with Jupiter-Uranus to be more ambitious towards those changes, okay? Giving you the more confidence to go in a new direction, right? To go for the promotion, open up your own company, right? It should give you a new sense of risk and self-confidence to give yourself the opportunities for advancement in career and job and in work, okay? And you also might have opportunities coming in where other people take a chance on you. But again, if you're looking for a new job, for instance, and you need to put your resume out there, right? If you're looking to get into a certain company, these opportunities won't come unless you try, unless you get the momentum moving, unless you take the chance to put yourself out there. And this has to do with believing in yourself and your self-worth and your self-value, and applying that and allowing yourself to apply that towards your outward achievements, right? Where you want to go in the world. New possibilities can feel really exciting, right? New visions, right, can be expanded on if this is happening in your 10th house. So you can also get more recognition in the public sphere for many of you, especially if you're allowing yourself to take risks and create it. Say you want to build a YouTube channel, you're a Leo rising. it's very unlikely that a Leo rising, except with other things afflicting the chart, that they wouldn't just go out there, because fire energy really likes to be yang. It likes to, and especially Leo, likes to be self-expressive. But this is an opportunity for Leo risings to take a even bigger leap of faith, right? An even bigger risk in the hemisphere of ambition and work and achievement and so forth. And there's nothing wrong with that. I say go with it, roll with it, take the opportunities to go into that sphere of life. For the Virgos and Virgo risings, this is happening in your 9th house. And so this has to do with Uranus in your 9th house, has to do with you seeking higher knowledge and truth, and really breaking up maybe things that you were brought up by, maybe perspectives that have become stagnant, and Uranus has been there and saying, oh, like maybe we need to seek new perspectives, right? Maybe it's time for our personal truths to change, and we can get sudden insights, you know, from questions and communicating and sharing ideas with other people. And then we can take it back for the Virgo and Virgo risings, take it back into ourselves and develop a new perspective, right? A new vision, or a new philosophy, personal philosophy on your life, right? And this is actually really important for Virgo, Virgo risings, because your values, which is Taurus, which is in your 9th house, shapes your belief systems, right? And so there's been a lot of change for the Virgo and Virgo risings around your personal values, right? And how that is literally changing what you believe about yourself, about the world, about connections with other people, right? About your direction in life and so forth. This is a big one, right? Big internal and external change all happening at the same time. And so Jupiter now making a conjunction here might bring you an opportunity to look at things in a new way, new belief systems. It might expand what you've already been looking on. Or if you've been a little stuck, right, it might bring in an opportunity, a new perspective to expand on those belief systems, right? That will really guide your life in every dynamic, every way, right? There could be also opportunities of travel that now appear to you that give you new opportunities to grow. You could win a trip, for instance, and it could be a life-changing trip. You know, you could meet the love of your life there. You could meet a guru or a spiritual teacher that completely just changes your perspective, you know, and how that would change everything in your life, right? You could get opportunities that are far away, because this is in the 9th house. It deals with foreign travel. This can also be about learning new things around life that appear to you. Okay, but this is overall about having a higher perspective and getting a bigger picture and a bigger framework on life, and how that perspective to open up the way your mind operates, to heavily operate more from a right brain, right? To be more creative in that sense, right? More open, how new ways of seeing the world and philosophy and what you bring into it and what it brings to you, how that can open up opportunities for you, you know, to guide your life and guide the direction that the way your life is moving towards. For the Libras and Libra risings, Uranus has been transiting the 8th house for a bit, for using whole sign, by the way. And this has definitely been shaking up relationships that are deeper, that are more intimate, okay, and more intense, on an intense level. You know, this is the house where we meet things like betrayal, trust, abandonment, money, sex, intimacy, death, and so forth, right? And I'm a Libra rising, so I can speak on this like very well. the way that you have contracts with money and people that have been associated with money will take one shift, right? I really feel like the essence of this Jupiter-Uranus transit here now, for especially for Libra risings and some Scorpio risings where this has been affecting them as well in the relationship department. It's about taking a risk to trust deeper within relationships. Now, that's not going to go without being very observant about where those risks could take you and learning to trust in your own self, because this is Taurus, right? That you have the ability to be self-sustainable on your own. You are complete and whole as a person on your own. And when you go into relationships with other people, there is a level of trust that needs to be incorporated in order to reach the deeper parts of intimacy, right? The deeper parts of connection. This is where Scorpio lies, is the ultimate ability to see eye to eye and with other humans and reach levels of vulnerability that would challenge your sense of safety and security. But it will only challenge your sense of safety and security if you don't have the tools to feel self-sustainable, self-sufficient, self-reliant on your own without other partner. It is only in the 8th house when we merge with other things that we rely on them, to the fact that we lose our sense of self-reliance and also individuality in a sense too, where we experience these levels of death and betrayal and abandonment and so forth. Okay, so this Jupiter-Uranus transit here can really be about taking new risks about what it means to open up to people. So if you are in a relationship with somebody, this can profoundly deepen your connection and understanding with a partner, where you learn to trust more, where you actually take in the deep connections that the 8th house can bring that are of intense value, right? Deep, affectionate love, value. These are dynamics in the 8th house that are just really, really, they require a risk for you to get to the deeper psychological layers of your personal truths and your insecurities and exposing them. And when in relationship with other people, it requires the two people to take a risk to liberate themselves from their own insecurities within themselves and with each other. And that allows the freedom and the expansion and the gift of that opportunity to actually then reach a new level of growth. Okay, so this transit can be incredibly healing for a lot of people who are experiencing it in this realm when it comes to their relationships. Okay, on the other hand, if you're a single person, it could be about you being able to now deepen your sense of self-trust within yourself, so that you can attract and risk yourself to trust other people and risk yourself to open up, to be able to get to those opportunities, right, of deep intimacy and love with other people. You know, learning to be vulnerable, expanding your sense of personal vulnerability, right? This can be really zooming in on the deep psychological undercurrents of your soul and ultimately freeing them up, removing the blockages, so that you can have what the 8th house beauty has to offer, which is connection, right? It's intimacy with life overall. It's trust, right? And also within that self-value that can be really expanded on with this transit, you know, your ability to provide for yourself on an even deeper, more profound layer can manifest, right? And also this can kick back, say this is not relationship related to you, say this is money and finances related to you. For a lot of Libra rising people, it is. The trust that you have on yourself to be so self-reliant, you can now invest into that somewhere, right? Say that's a job, for instance, right? And you're choosing to invest in taking an opportunity with that, and that can lead to more growth and more money. Of course, it will look different, like different money than 11th house or second house. But again, it gives you the opportunity to grow the value, to grow your ability to be self-resourceful, essentially. But it will require this faith to open up and deepen your personal understanding of your psychological undercurrents and be vulnerable and truthful enough within yourself to heal them, right? To have faith that you can let it go, that you can trust again, that there's opportunities in life there when we look at things from a different perspective and we have faith in a different way. For the Scorpios and Scorpio risings, this is happening in your 7th house. And so this is about connection and relating to other people and your relationships. This is your one-to-one relationships. This can be marriage partnerships too, although I look at marriage partnerships as an 8th house thing as well. I think we can look at them both in different ways. Business partnerships, you know, good friends, close friends, also open enemies in some degree. But here, this conjunction is about giving relationships a chance again. And for many of the Scorpio rising and Scorpios, there has been a lot of relationship changes and a lot of relationship dynamics, right? They're shifting, they're changing, people are coming, they're going. And it's been asking you to really shift your values and the terms on which you're willing to open up to relationships, or you're willing for relationships to happen, okay? And so this is, you know, Uranus here has been probably a little tough because you can have this sense of betrayal or boundaries being crossed, right? Or your self-respect is being crossed, and things maybe haven't seemed equal at all. Or, you know, at certain times during this transit the last couple of years, or the complete uprooting, because Uranus is complete sudden shifts. So it could just be the complete uprooting of relationships at one point in your life over the last few years. However, Uranus has been asking you to make upgrades, right? When they're there, when they're not allowing you to have the freedom and the necessity to grow and expand as an individual yourself, right? When partner creates a limitation that is ultimately not best for the evolution of the soul, what ends up manifesting with Uranus in the 7th house is the underlying dynamics. The soul actually manifests the breakup themselves because they didn't realize that partner was reflecting back to them their personal need for liberation. And so partner doesn't get what they need, they don't get what they need, problems arise, boom, the relationship explodes one day, and they're like, I don't know what happened, but really the thing was happening for a long time. Right? So here Jupiter comes along and makes a conjunction to Uranus, and now it's like, give relationships a chance, right? Get rid of the ones that don't help you grow. And I'm sorry, but I have to say, get rid of the ones that don't help you grow, and give other people the benefit of the doubt, the ones who are reflecting to you more freedom, more faith, more joy, right? Reflecting the qualities of opportunity that you want to reflect back at them too, okay? And so this really is a nice transit for Scorpio and Scorpio risings to now actually, you know, reflect on, you know, do you believe that you can have better relationships, and are you willing to take the risk, you know? And if you're in a current relationship and say it's been, you know, wishy-washy with Uranus there vibrating in your 7th house and causing havoc and stuff, are you willing to expand on your belief systems with partner? Are you willing to give this another chance? Are you willing to think things can get better, right? Can we change our perspective, right? There can be a benefit here of Jupiter that will help you bring an upgrade, or at least take the risks to bring an upgrade. But however, I will say with the 1st and 7th house, it's going to take both parties to have the communication here. You know, don't be under the guise that like, oh, Jupiter is going to make everything better, and my partner and your partner doesn't do any of the work that is required on their half. You know, Jupiter might ask you to evaluate if things are just within the relationship, right? If they're reflecting back to you your own personal values, essentially. And so here, Jupiter-Uranus could free up, your stagnation. Maybe you have a whole new perspective. Maybe partner wants an open relationship, for instance, and Jupiter-Uranus comes in and you're like, wow, actually, I can see why polyamorous relationships could work and benefit me and this person. And then maybe, you choose to get therapy together so you can go on this new journey and take this new venture with partner. Okay. Not every relationship with Uranus, Jupiter here will break up. Not everyone will upgrade. Not everyone will benefit. It's about your personal beliefs that you're bringing in to this transit. And so that's why it's completely up to you to get aligned with those values, okay? And aligned with what it means for you to have freedom in relationships, freedom to express yourself, and really, what are your new value systems going into this, and how is that helping you feel more self-sustained in your relationship dynamics and so forth. Then we go to the Sagittarius rising and Sagittarius sun. And this is happening in your 6th house. So here, Uranus has been dealing with your health, okay? Your ability to have routines or not have routines and break them up, and probably referring to a lot of your eating habits and deep bodily issues around your health as well, insights into your health issues. So Jupiter, and this can also deal with your relationship to your job, if you work under somebody or if you have people that work under you. And the reason why I incorporate career into this house is because it's what we do on a day-to-day basis, and that can really affect our health. And so you want to be looking at the themes that your daily routines are being affected here, right? And your ability to be really coherent on whether they are working for you or not. And Uranus in your 6th house for you, Sag and Sagittarius risings, have been wanting you to free up the space in your day-to-day house. This can definitely deal with people who live in your house too, right? Because this ultimately, these transits are going to move into your 7th house. And so if this is vibrating issues or uncomfortability or blockages with people that affect you on a day-to-day level, I would actually consider looking at this dynamic as well, right? This conjunction going on. But here in the 6th house, we can fix things, right? We can become more coherent and discerning with the disruptions that affect us on a day-to-day level. And so Uranus is really trying to open up and free up your space within relationship of what works for you, okay? What allows you the expansion to grow. And, this is important too, because Jupiter is one of your ruling planets. And so Jupiter conjunct Uranus here, you get an opportunity to take a risk for self-improvement in a new way. This could be an opportunity to take a new health routine in, go to a new gym that you go to daily, focus on a new diet, or let go of a diet that doesn't serve you anymore, right? That isn't helping you get clean anymore, that you thought, and changing your beliefs that, well, I've done this diet for 10 years. Maybe you've been a vegetarian for 10 years and you're like completely anemic. And I'm a vegetarian, by the way, so I'm encouraging this for people like who need it. Maybe you're completely anemic at this point and you've been already thinking about, maybe I'll eat chicken again, right? Maybe those things need to change, and Jupiter-Uranus comes in here and allows you to have a new perspective on what it means to take control of your healing and also your day-to-day routines and your personal sense of self-improvement. This could be a chance to rethink those habits as well, right? Do they work or do they not work? And taking a risk of letting go of certain habits so that you can have an upgrade that ultimately helps you listen to your body and helps you heal your intuitive body as well, right? We really want to get into the right brain under this sixth house transit, because your natural instincts and your connection to your body and your connection to healing under this house are going to give you a lot of signs and signals about what's going wrong. So if like you've been dealing with a lot of anxiety, Jupiter can come in here and show you it might be a risk to let go of this thing, but it's been causing you complete upheaval and anxiety for a long time. What do you think about this perspective and go in a new direction? And so here people can come in and tell you things as well. So I wouldn't disregard any new information or perspectives that can come your way under this transit, right? You might even decide to co-work with other people in the healing dynamics and so forth, and they can make expansive, profound changes on your health, as long as you're willing to be open to other modalities and other philosophies of what it means to heal the body or heal the mind and so forth. For the Capricorns and the Capricorn risings, this is happening in your fifth house. So here you have a super creative opportunity to really put out your creative self-expression, and the way that you do that in a new way. For many of you, maybe Uranus transiting here has been helping you take up new ways of expressing your ego and developing your ego. Maybe you've been getting creative new downloads and who you are and how you want to present yourself and your creativity level. And this could have been an opportunity for you to start to develop and become quick actually in developing creative projects. Now, again, it goes back to the beginning of the video. You could already be working on things, or things that you've been thinking about start to get worked on now. And I encourage you to roll with this energy. This is the house of joys and your personal interests and kids. But ultimately, it deals with your personal self-expression and how you're seen out in the world. So Jupiter coming in here will give you an opportunity to take risks on that personal self-expression and realize that there's value in what you bring to the table. Okay. And maybe you've been working for a while or feeling this ruminating beneath the surface, vibrating beneath the surface. Maybe you've been getting like incredible downloads, incredible insights through Uranus, personal upgrades, if you will, self-value, self-worth upgrades. And Jupiter comes in here and it's like, okay, take up some space because your unique way of doing this is important. And so it's time to expand on that. And so Jupiter can come and bring in more fun, more opportunity to have more fun with those things. It can take your creative baby, if you will, or yourself as this creative individual. It can take it on a new journey, right? If you allow it to. It can reach out farther places, right? It can travel farther. If you're willing to take the risk on the fact that your personal sense of creativity and your personal mark on the world is really important. And it doesn't matter what other people think, right? Because remember, we're releasing a lot of judgments under this transit as well. And so the more expanded and open you can open up your heart chakra, open up your sense of joy and your willingness to allow more joy and fun to come in, because you can be pretty hardworking Capricorn risings, right? Now, Taurus here is like, you might get comfortable in a certain state of being and how you are, but now is the time to even expand more on your ability to create, because Capricorn risings, like you can achieve things, you can get places, you can really climb the mountain, you can really get to the top, be really embrace that ambition that's within you, as long as you are continuously feeding that self-empoweredness, that value, that inner sense of value that can emanate from your work, right? And so Jupiter is going to come in conjunct with Uranus and take that for a new ride, as long as you're willing to be open and share that right? Share that out and allow that to grow. For the Aquarius, we're almost done. 2 more. For the Aquarius and the Aquarius risings, Uranus is going to be, Uranus-Jupiter is going to be in your 4th house. So this is transiting, most likely has been operating maybe near your IC, depending on what house system you use and so forth. But, you know, with Uranus here, we can tend to need that isolation, right? That I talked about to find out our individuality, right? To cut out the noise and so forth. And so for many of us, like we might have been going inward more for Aquarius and Aquarius risings, needing to change literal homes, right? Maybe get away from the city, get more into the wilderness, the forest, right? To cut out the noise, right? To give yourself more quietness, to really embrace who you are on a deeper level, because the 4th house here is really who you are. It's your ego development as an individual from an evolutionary perspective, right? And so it's who we've developed ourselves to be. And so that has probably been going through a lot of inner changes, right? And so we've needed to separate a little bit from the opinions of the outside world and what other people think, and how we're emotionally shifting, the inner emotional shifts within our body, within our soul. So there can be time to regroup and reorientate yourself from a psychological situation as well, on and off, with Uranus transiting the IC or Uranus going through the 4th house, right? And for a lot of you, this could have been bringing up stuff that you need to tell your family or your close loved ones that are really radical or really changing for them, right? They're not expecting it from you. They're like, oh, wow, that's really different of you, right? And that's because Uranus in the 4th house is changing the needs, right? The emotions that you are feeling that are related to your needs, right? And also asking you to release yourself from trauma, from family history, or even ancestral history that can cause the soul to stagnate growth and have a new sense of emotional security, if you will. And so with Jupiter here, this could bring up those family issues that need to be expanded on, right? You might need to speak your truth finally. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you finally need to speak your truth to your family. And let them know what's up, what's been going on, since Uranus has been transiting your 4th house, and Jupiter might come in and give you the courage to do that, essentially giving you a more emotional freedom, emotionally and psychologically, right? And how liberating this kind of transit could be, right? Happening in such an important house placement. It might also ask you to go more within, to have faith and joy with who you are, which then could maybe expand on your ability to express that, if you so choose, to others, to family, to people who are close to you, mostly your kinship, and, or release yourself from ancestral things, especially if you've been working with spiritual tools where you've been digging up things like from many, many lifetimes, of just wanting to be a different person and not being able to be, Jupiter is going to come in here at Uranus and tell you that your emotional needs matter. And I think give you the faith and the trust to really believe that, to really believe that sometimes maybe that Taurus 4th house, people have depended on you so much, to the lack of you being able to take care of your own personal values and your own personal needs. And that could be changing for a lot of you. And because it's an emotional house, and it's also one of the house of endings where things can end, that can be a painful process. And so Jupiter can come in and give you a good sense of renewal and faith that, going your own way, embracing your emotional needs and looking at them from a deep, deep, deep psychological level, and changing your beliefs or perspectives, or even just having trust that somebody that you're close to and connected to would embrace your new sense of authentic self, your new sense of beliefs, that they'll be there to embrace your changes, or somebody will that you're close to. And if they're not, it can still give you the courage and the strength to overcome those challenges if they present themselves, right? But this can really be an emotional renewal and an emotional release that can, when we release emotions, like deep rooted emotions within our body and within our psychological makeup, it really allows the flow of life and the opportunities of other areas of our life to flood in. Okay, so this is an important transit for the Aquarius and Aquarius risings. And last is Pisces and Pisces risings. So for you, this transit is happening in your third house. And so with Uranus transiting there for a while, this has been about telling your story. And feeling free enough to express yourself, to tell your story, at least tell your personal story, and at least communicate it. Okay. And for many of you too, it's been about opening up your mind to new ideas, and collecting new information. And, you know, maybe lots of little bits of data of new information and so forth have been coming in for you. Maybe you've been getting opportunities to write or to teach or to tell your opinions and your ideas with other people. But here, you know, Uranus traveling through your third house has been asking you to think of things in new ways, right? Take in new information, maybe even giving you these amazing new creative ideas. Also networking with other people in your close community. You could be creating new friendships. Some may come, some may go. It can go in and out, can go either way, but this is ultimately wanting you to build trust in your sense of value in what your perspective is, what your ideas are, right? And it can be scary sharing our ideas with other people or communicating them, especially when we want to write or speak about it. But the Taurus here has been asking us Pisces risings to have a sense of value in what you're articulating in your speech, and especially the ideas that you can come up with that maybe you want to share with others, maybe you don't. So Jupiter coming in here, Jupiter-Uranus, I think this would bring a lot of opportunity for a lot of Pisces and Pisces risings to expand their education and learn something that is now going to even open up their consciousness on a bigger and wider level, okay? This could bring in new data coming in, whether that's your own personal insights or whether that's coming in from other people or a new class, a new connection that you make. This can bring you educational upgrades and opportunities for you to carry out into the rest of your chart, okay? This can also indicate that you'll be busier on the local side. You might be traveling more locally, and that might be due to networking events, right? Or attending local conferences and so forth, right? Attending webinars and so forth, learning, speaking, teaching, writing, information, and lots of movement basically around your mind's curiosity, okay? And how that is going to actually impact you on your value system and give you a sense of renewal and faith in what it means to have values for yourself, and then also exchange those with other people. And so there's a lot of busyness with this transit for you that I think will bring you more open-mindedness that's going to help you grow. And also questions. I encourage you guys to start asking more questions. How can this opportunity, you know, get me to the next level? How can this connection get me to the next level? How can this class, how can this new knowledge, right? And so forth. Using the mind and connecting that to the questions and the curiosity, and how that can open up and free up your personal value system, which will guide you in all of the other areas of your life. So I think that's it. That's all the signs. So I'm going to stop. I'm not sharing my screen, but I'm going to pull this down. So I want to thank everybody for being here on this super long video. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I hope you do. I hope you hit the subscribe button and the notification button. Please don't forget to like this video. It helps my channel grow. Definitely leave a comment if you would like to tell me where this is happening in your chart. I also like to know, I really like to respond to comments. That also helps my channel grow. And don't forget to share as well, right? All these things really help me for the Scenic Root Astrology to just get out there and get this information out there, especially if it's been helpful for you. If you need to go deeper within your chart, if you're like really interested in this, then I am available for astrology readings. You can email me at Makayla@scenicrootastrology.com. That will be in the show notes below. Or you can send me a direct message on Instagram, Scenic Root Astrology, and I'll respond to you over there. I do want to say, if you're going to do a manifestation under this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, so if you want to launch something, if you want to do a ritual, if you're waiting on this, I would recommend you to actually not do that until the Taurus new moon, right? Because this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is ruled by Venus, and we have a lovely Taurus new moon coming up on May 8th, 2024. So if you're going to do any type of launching or ritual manifestation, wait until then. That's my little astrology tip. But again, having a discussion with an astrologer who can help you dig into this on a very, very deep level, I highly recommend, so you can get the most out of this opportunity. I do have a new Patreon group that I launched a couple weeks ago as a soft launch. I'm doing a 7-day free trial until May 8th. So if you would like to sign up for a daily Starcast, that's off my Patreon. Every day at midnight, you will get an email sent to you. It will be a 10-minute audio, and it will describe the energy of the day. So it's like a personalized horoscope into your email every day. And I really come from a no bullshit approach to astrology. I'm very direct and very forward. So I'm not going to tell you every day is going to be excellent and amazing, because it's not always the case. I'm pretty direct, and I have a little bit of sarcasm with myself because I'm just my authentic self on my daily Starcast. So if that is something you want to try, if you like my astrology and you want a daily astrology update every day, you can try the 7-day free trial. And then starting in May, it'll be $13.99 a month. And you can cancel at any time if you continue it. And then at one time you want to cancel, no worries there. And also subscribe to my Instagram, because I have a course that's coming out. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but I do have a course coming out soon. And I'm very excited because it's my first one and it's a big deal for me. So with that being said, I really appreciate everybody here. Definitely let me know what's going on for you in your chart, where this is showing up for you, what you're already feeling, what you're thinking. And if you want to return after the transit and let me know any updates, please feel free. I love being here for everybody. And so I want you to have a good time. All right. I will talk to you all soon, and you take care.